Arnold, I'm afraid, left his papers in somewhat of a disarray. We had a bunch of them, and there were some other ones that were somehow kind of hard to get a hold of because of some interpersonal problems between the girl who was working with him a great deal, Nancy, and Scott Griffin, who sort of had been his kind of hand holder for a lot of those last years of his time. But we had all these kind of unconnected pieces of stuff that had been here and there, a line here, a line there. And so we found these little short pieces here and there, and we wrestled together a dozen of them. The first 5 were the first big bursts, and that was, I think, probably among the strongest of all of them. One of them actually was contributed by me. That's "I Will Never Forgive You for My Behavior," which came from a kind of strange reason. When we were together, he and I at Yale, this was for a residency where I was using some of my Guggenheim money, which wasn't an awful lot, and a tiny little pittance that was given me by the Yale School of Drama to be visiting critic in musical theater, because they had to find out something that would somehow square with the original 17th century Elihu Yale charter, and they couldn't find anything, even critic. I'm not a critic. But anyway, we did this whole thing there. And we put together a show called Great Shot. Things were rather difficult between me and Arnold because he had become an addict for the shots that were given by a famous Dr. Feelgood named Max Jacobson, who was shooting up lots of people in the rock world and so on and so forth. Even John Kennedy, I believe, with what was supposed to be niacin shots, but turned out to be mostly meth. And so I would be trying to work with him. He was staying at Brantford College. I was suffering through a pretty painful second marriage myself, living out in Guildford. And so I would come to try to work with him. Every time I came, I would find the furniture all been moved. He would stay up for 3 days in a row, and I think something that is common among cocaine and speed people is that they think everything they do is deathless and full of, the self-criticism just goes out the window, so the delusions of grandeur. So it was pretty hard to work with him all that time. And I can't say it was really ruinous, but the piece that we did, Great Shot, has a lot of kind of maybe funny review numbers in it, but it's a mess. Several reasons. Paul Sills took over the whole thing, and one of his ideas as an improvisational person is to take the whole pages, throw them in the air, and just pick them up anywhere. And so we had a lot of that sort of thing. And not only that, don't forget this is a time for the 1968 craziness everywhere. I mean, in Paris there was the événement du mai, but everybody else was kind of crazy too. Open firings and faculty meetings with the Yale School, and it just one crazy thing after another. So we really hadn't been speaking much after all of that for a while. And finally, after a couple of years, I just wrote him a note, and I said, "I will never forgive you for my behavior," which is like a little kind of olive branch. And that's where that one came. Everything else is his.